All right, I don't want to alarm anybody, but we might be getting Bigfoot in 2026. There have been a lot of sightings. We're going to go through those. Also, shout out to Zynol from the Rumble Rant last night. Thank you so much. He said, just want to say, loved what you did on the episode with the numerology guy. That's in reference to IRL. When I read scripture to the numerology guy, who before we went live was kind of mocking Christianity. So I knew immediately it was going to be an interesting one. He says, "The ball's on you. P.S. Patton was right." Now I'm assuming it might be General Patton or maybe Mike Patton. Not Patton Oswalt, though. But yeah, I don't want to alarm anybody. Bigfoot, lock your doors. But he doesn't really open doors. He goes through portals, right? Who knows? But I do think that they took away Nancy Guthrie and General McCaslin so they can give us back Amelia Earhart and Jimmy Hoffa. And if one more person goes missing, you heard it here first, they're going to give us Bigfoot. I think that's how it works. I think I cracked the code. It's like following the weather. We're meteorologists here, but with cryptids and demons. It's the good old stuff. But we have okay. I want to pull these up because we have all these collective nouns. Okay, let's just do a quick little English class. We have a pride of lions, a murder of crows. That's one of my favorites. A pod of dolphins, a gaggle of geese, a swarm of bees, a pack of wolves, obviously, a school of fish. We know these. A troop of monkeys is a good one. A parliament of owls is another one of my favorites. But with all these Bigfoot sightings, I just feel like we need a good collective noun for Bigfoot. The sirens are now coming for me. If they're being picked up by the microphone, you can hear it. So I might be rated at any minute. So that'll be fun. But what was I thinking? I was thinking perhaps we could say a dimension of Bigfoots or big feet. Bigfoots, I think sounds better. A dimension of big feet doesn't sound so good. A howling of Bigfoot, I think, is also cool. I just think these are the kind of things we need to get in order as we are approaching Bigfoot disclosure. It just seems like 2026 is the year they're like, all right, we got Bigfoot. We created him. He escaped. He kept breeding out there. He is interdimensional. He's kind of like a chimera. One of our scientists started mating with him. We're extremely sorry about all of this, but he can slip through portals and he might run for president. We know about the lady and the dolphins with the acid for NASA. We know you are hypercritical of these scientists and their affectionate relationships with these 800,000 lab-grown rat brains. So, of course, that we breed these chimeras, and then these scientists, they're mad. They're mad scientists. Look what Fauci did. We can't help what they do on or off the clock. And one of them, unfortunately, mated with a Bigfoot. That one escaped. We do think that the scientists helped the Bigfoot escape. This is back in the 50s, and it was a Cold War experiment gone wrong. And there you go. But now, as we are beginning to enter into the era of Bigfoot disclosure, we here at the government want to ensure that we have the correct collective nouns for Bigfoot. There were some people online that had some suggestions. A lurch of Bigfoots is good. A shamble of Bigfoots was another one I saw. And a tribe of big feet. I like a dimension of Bigfoot. Or Bigfoots, even though it doesn't sound proper. But let's just, things to think about. If you have a collective noun that you want to use for Bigfoot once they arrive and start campaigning for 2028, please let us know in the comments what would work best here. We want to do it right. We want to do it right here. We just want everything to go off without a hitch. So we are going to get to a caller. I know I have one person in line last I checked, and thank you to the callers from yesterday. I will be continuing to do this. Sometimes the times might change, and I'll let everyone know online. The link is always the same. And it's just going to get better and better. It was great to hear from people yesterday. I really appreciate the people who showed up. And I know a lot of people who are going to try to make it in at some point in the near future. So, again, the links will be posted Monday through Thursday on my socials at Shane Cashman to call in through Zoom. And we also try to have them in the description below each video that we put up, because I will be using the same link for Inverted World phone calls. But yeah, it was great. Thank you guys for all the comments, everything. Super appreciative. But could you imagine if we get Amelia Earhart and Jimmy Hoffa this year and then Bigfoot? It just seems like that's the direction we're heading. As the wars escalate, the absurdity of all the things that, we might have been laughed at for believing in or even considering that once appeared to be on the fringes of polite discourse. And now it's like Trump's like, just release it, keep them distracted, just give them the UFOs. I mean, we haven't really got anything yet. There's been a lot of back and forth, and it's been interesting. So let's get to some Bigfoot. Where did I see the first thing here? Oh, and I'll be getting to this caller soon. So, and hopefully nothing explodes. Wouldn't that be great? Buckeye Backwoods Bigfoot. Northeast Ohio residents on lookout as Sasquatch sightings hit 1970s levels. Sick. A time of potential discovery is how the moment is described. This is from the New York Sun. Oh my goodness. And of course it refreshed and won't let me read it now. So I'm going to do some quick rehab here while I read from the Bigfoot Society, because I'm going to read that article. Well, I'm going to try to take it on the free website. Okay. Don't tell anybody. But the Bigfoot Society has listed all of these major updates. Let's pull these up. Bigfoot Society, major Bigfoot surge in Portland County, Ohio. So a lot of this is in Ohio, although there have been a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Idaho as well. Something, the Bigfoot Society says, is moving through the Headwaters Trail green belt. So if anyone out there, if you're in this area, please try to call in. I'd love to hear what you've been hearing on the ground, or if you've seen anything. The Bigfoot Society is tracking an unprecedented cluster of activity, 5 high credibility reports in just 96 hours. From Mantua to Windham, we are seeing a documented corridor of movement. The variation in height, which is from 6 feet to 10 feet, and color suggests we aren't just tracking one individual, but a potential family group migrating east, or as we like to say here, a dimension of Bigfoots or a howling of Bigfoots. I'm trying to make that stick. Unless you have a better one, leave it in the comments. So far the timeline is thus. March 6th, around 12:23 p.m., Mantua, a 9-foot brown male spotted near SR 44. This is getting a little spicy already, huh? March 7th, 10:52 p.m., Mantua, 8-foot figure. Now it's a figure with this is a quote from the people who saw, a deep vibrating grunt and oversized muddy prints. March 9th, at 10:20 a.m. in Garrettsville, a hiker encountered an 8-foot Sasquatch in black fur. Of course, we don't know how credible all of these witnesses are. It would be nice to know a little bit more about them. But the Bigfoot Society says they're credible. So we'll see. Okay, my mouse was covering the word stilt, and it looked very different beneath the mouse on the cursor. On March 9th, 11:47 a.m., Headwaters Trail, 10-foot black figure with a stilt-like gait and musky odor. March 9th again, so this is 3 on March 9th. At 6 p.m. in Windham, a 6-foot brown figure, that's funny, spotted running with an impossibly long stride. Have you guys seen you guys should look up the Shaquille O'Neal gorilla story. Shaq tells a story about gorillas. If you haven't seen it, it is hilarious. Hopefully they have it spliced with the other NBA player telling the other half of the Shaq story with the gorillas. You'll understand that transition in my brain once you watch that clip. We need your help, says the Bigfoot Society. If you are in Windham, Garrettsville, or near the Trumbull County line, be our eyes and ears. 1, check trail cams and security footage from the last 48 hours. 2, listen for deep grunts, whoops, or wood knocks. We know those are classic things that people experience when they think they have seen a Bigfoot. 3, report sightings immediately. Witness privacy is our priority. They are really trying to make this happen. So that's a lot of sightings, alleged sightings, in just a few days' time this month. And I think there's going to be more. You know what happens, though, with these kind of things, if it does take off, because this is kind of trending on Twitter in some, one of these weird corners on Twitter that I linger through, is that the more people think they see this, then it could create, more people thinking they see a Bigfoot. So you got to take that into account. But a 10-foot tall figure is quite insane. And it's hard to think that you could confuse that. People be like, well, it was a monkey. In Ohio, has there been an escape from a zoo? Or is this some sort of Montauk experiment gone wrong? That's why I was thinking about, earlier with the Bigfoot escaping the lab. You think about the Montauk monster that washed ashore from Plum Island, where, they were experimenting on all types of things, viruses and animals, I believe, making chimeras. And we had that image of some weird looking wolf-like creature. Looked like nothing I'd seen before. And if it was real, it looked very strange. Washed ashore, had strange jaws, strange teeth, strange claws. And people were like, did this come from Plum Island? Could have. I believe they closed Plum Island and then moved it to like Kansas or something, where it's much safer for you people out there. I guess in Kansas you have to deal with the chimeras now. Werewolf in Paris, werewolf in Kansas. All right, let me pull up this article I was trying to read to you earlier. Back to the Buckeye Backwoods from the Sun. And this is from today. Residents of Northeast Ohio are on the lookout for the legendary Bigfoot after several reported sightings in the area this week. Enthusiasts are excited by the prospect of proving that the creature of North American legend is real and expanding Sasquatch studies beyond the murky field of cryptozoology. The host of the Bigfoot Society podcast, we just went through that, Jeremiah Byron, tells the New York Sun that this is a time of potential discovery. He has sought and taken witness accounts from people shaken by what they believe were encounters this week. The last time we had this many sightings in one place, he said, was back in the late 1970s. Bigfoot boomed in the disco decade. That's not Jeremy saying that. That is the writer of this article saying that. Again, Bigfoot boomed in the disco decade. What kind of images might that evoke in your mind? On The $6 Million Man, A Star Was Born, as portrayed by the great Andre the Giant. There was also the series Bigfoot and Wild Boy and other appearances. Now, Sasquatch is making a comeback thanks to documentaries and shows like Expedition Bigfoot. Bigfoot searchers who never lost faith operate far from the spotlight where their alleged quarry lurks. They believe that the Sasquatch is just another creature that, like mountain gorillas in 1902 and Komodo dragons in 1910, will be called a myth until proof is provided. The Bigfoot Society hopes that answers emerge from the Buckeye Backwoods. If you guys are in this area, hit us up. Monday morning on Facebook, Mr. Byron posted a video on the 6th reported sighting in 5 days. He spoke to the witness, who was extremely shook up and very emotional. Okay, so a woman, just kidding, after their German Shepherd went ballistic, lunging towards the wood line of their property. The witness, who spoke to Mr. Byron on condition of anonymity, told him they'd heard massive crashing out amongst the trees and saw something like a large black shadow moving. They described something way bigger than the bears in the area, about 8 to 10 feet tall. Much bigger than the bears in the area. While the German Shepherd was said to be literally shaking with fear, Mr. Byron tells the Sun that he doesn't think we are in a time of danger. He said that most times witnesses I talked to describe the Bigfoot as not being bothered by a human being present, and they keep on walking with purpose, sloped forward. Last March, the Canton Repository reported that witnesses have reported Bigfoot activity for decades. In the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, the first report of the current rash of alleged sightings was submitted to the Bigfoot Mapping Project, which tracks those asserting they had run-ins with the World Hide-and-Seek champion. That's a quote. It doesn't say who quoted that, But that okay. The world hide and seek champion. There you go. No matter where Bigfoot is reported, there are spiritual residents of Missouri, the show me state, who dismiss the accounts as alcohol fueled mass hysteria or hallucination. Sounds and footprints aren't enough. Believers in extraterrestrial life are dismissed the same way, but skeptics may soon learn that humanity is not alone. See, they're tying this all together with UFO disclosure. I don't know how deep they're going to go into it, but that's what that sentence is doing. 2 weeks ago on Truth Social OK, President Trump directed agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. This follows his actions on high-profile assassinations in the 1960s and Amelia Earhart's disappearance. A document dump on Bigfoot is in the realm of possibility. See, we're on the same page here, me and this writer. Before the name emerged, Bigfoot found an open mind in the White House. Before the name emerged, Bigfoot found an open mind in the White House. President Theodore Roosevelt, in his 1890 book, The Wilderness Hunter, recounted the tale of a half-human and half-devil creature, a great goblin beast. That is Teddy's words. It was told to him by a frontiersman called Bowman. While hunting in Washington state, Roosevelt ignored a warning by a Native American guide to steer clear of a certain section of woods populated by dangerous creatures. The president dismissed this as superstition, proceeded, and set up camp. The noises he heard at night unnerved him, being unlike any he had heard. He did no noises. I mean, he hunted all over the place. He helped fill the Museum of Natural History in New York with his hunts. There are more things in heaven and earth, Hamlet tells his loyal friend Horatio in Shakespeare's play. Shakespeare is also, fake, but that's all right. I mean, he might be like a network of people. Or he was AI too. I was talking about Thomas Pynchon being AI. Maybe Shakespeare is also AI. Maybe these are all products of the ancient breakaway civilization pretending to prop up certain type of characters in our so-called history. They just turn out to be AI. And from the Shakespeare, then are dreamt of in your philosophy. Let me repeat that so we get the whole thing. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Those who dream of Bigfoot hope that the creature will at last step onto the stage in Ohio and run for governor. Watch out, Vivek. This is, Mr. Byron tells his son, an extremely exciting time to live in. Indeed. I know David Paulides has done a lot of Bigfoot stuff. He's another guy. It's like everyone in this space is just controversial because people hate them or don't hate them, love them, ignore them, whatever. But I do know, as far as I can tell, he's gone out on the ground, interviewed a ton of people. It seems like a lot of those people don't know each other. And he had I think David's like a former police investigator. And when he did this Bigfoot investigation, talking to a bunch of people, I forget where he was, somewhere. I think it was Northwest. Maybe it was actually Oklahoma or something. But he brought also with him, one of these guys who does the police sketches, and according to every witness, he had the sketches all kind of start to look similar, and it was like this giant creature with a human face. So there was this weird anomaly emerging that these multiple people, seemingly who don't know each other from all over the state, I think it was Oklahoma, were seeing something similar. And who knows what? I think they've collected samples of like maybe there's footprints and stuff. Who knows? I'd like to see more. I think there's also some footage supposed to be coming out soon of someone else's Bigfoot sighting that they're saying is quite good. But who knows? I find it fascinating. Last year I've become quite interested in Bigfoot more than ever. I used to not take it very seriously, although I really liked Harry and the Hendersons growing up. Just making sure I didn't miss anything here from the Bigfoot Society, but shout out to the Bigfoot Society. I think that's really cool. Tracking this, we have people tracking tornadoes, we have people tracking earthquakes, and we have people tracking UFOs. We have people tracking Bigfoot, as we should. And maybe we will get some Bigfoot disclosure. Maybe that's what's on the horizon. It's about time. Will we believe it? Will you believe it? I don't know. Why should we believe anything they tell us? Perhaps it's part of their plan to make it seem like, hey, we're being the most transparent ever. Here, read this thing that we had AI write. And it's just based on everything you've ever put on the internet. So it will confirm all your biases while also driving you insane and keep you distracted, like we say to our friends in the Epstein files when we're trying to extract wealth from dying nations, and also human trafficking and child trafficking, because that's literally what they're saying in the Epstein files. Or Bigfoot's a real thing and they've been tracking. It's probably, my best guess, my gut feeling is that there is something out there. I think people are seeing things the same way I feel about UFOs. People are seeing things. I think a lot of the UFOs are probably either demonic, meaning that it's part of some other sort of demon species that has been part of these ancient breakaway civilizations, or it's just Lockheed Martin. You could say it's just Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, stuff like that. And then you can tie the two together and say, well, maybe they're building these things because of reverse engineering the stuff that they're getting from ancient breakaway civilizations. That's just me, though. That's just me. It just seems like it's rooted in something more tangible, because I don't really buy it when the government starts saying, like, or whistleblowers rather. I don't want to say the government, although they lie about everything too. When whistleblowers who were with the government at some point and then broke away to become these podcast guests and saying, like, oh yeah, we know, we briefed, so-and-so representative about 4 alien species, the reptiles, the grays, all these things. And I'm like, okay, I just don't know why I should believe you now. Like, the government lies about everything, but we're supposed to believe you now. As I've said before, I believe they're trying to get on the good side of the people who don't believe in the dominant narrative. And a lot of those people are the quote unquote conspiracy theorists, dissenting voices, and by conspiracy theorists, you guys know that's not what we are. We're historians. We've just seen history and we have questions and we notice patterns. It's okay to question anything. And they know that crowd, they were a massive influence in the subversion of a narrative like COVID, which was all part of this giant fear ritual that has been pushed through our country and the world to help them complete their takeover of, I think, all of society. Like, New World Order is kind of like cliche now, but it's still what they talk about. I mean, that's what WEF talks about. That's what a lot of these different presidents, prime ministers, whatever, they do still talk about it, and they govern in such a way. And, as we descend into more war and redefining what war is, it seems very plausible to me that we're just going to keep making the world seem as absurd as possible so that people have to accept whatever next absurdity comes along. So there's that, but I really do think, like what I was saying, is the government learned that they have to get the subverters, the dissenting voices on their side to help push along their narrative. So if they can, this is just my theory. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again here because it's such an interesting time that, every conspiracy is now true. And it's less taboo to say anything like this publicly. And I think a lot of that is to be like, let's confirm their biases and then let's get them on our side. And then we can start giving them more information that is absolutely false, but it will help us in the end, either with distracting the public or being able to control the hardest to control section of the population, which is like Christians, dissenting voices, conspiracy theorists, stuff like that. That's my theory. So maybe we'll learn about Bigfoot. Maybe we don't. If you are in Ohio or Idaho or anywhere and you've had a Bigfoot encounter, we'd love to hear about it. So with that in mind, I'm going to try to pull up my call-in machine. Let's see if I can set this up without losing anything yet. Still DIY, but maybe a little less. Working on it here, but we will see how this goes. Didn't go so bad yesterday. Not so bad. But while we wait for this, I want to thank everybody again for tuning in yesterday. Thank you so much for the comments. Appreciate you guys. It was very cool to have callers come back and hear from you guys, and hope to keep doing more of it. So this is the Zoom machine that I am hopefully going to have turn on at any moment. We're going to admit John. Sounds like we're bringing him into a mental institution. We are admitting you. We don't know for how long, but it's totally up to us. So John, let's bring him in. John.
My brother Shane.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, dude. Thank you for calling.
No, it's my pleasure. How's the show going?
It's going, dude. We're having fun. Trying to make sure I got your volume up. Let's hear from you one more time. Say something to us.
Test 1 2. Shane's the best follow on X.
Let's make sure you say that even better, even a little louder. Oh, my volume's being finicky, but we can hear you. And
I will say it louder. Shane is the best follow on X.
Sick. Thank you. What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. I know you want to hear about strange stories, and I just want to talk about one that we're experiencing collectively right now, and that is the effect that ancient evil is having on our society today.
Perfect. I was just talking about ancient evil and the ancient breakaway civilizations that I believe have been hiding and plotting our demise. But let's hear your take on it.
Well, you know how we always talk about China and their 1,000-year plan. And I think that one of the things people leave out when they think in those terms is that Earth, as we know it, the planet, the plane that we live on, is inhabited by ancient beings that are older than us, that were created before us, and that when humanity came to be, it shook up the entire spiritual realm and physical realm and the merging of the two. And these ancient beings have been around for years. And on yesterday's show, which I didn't get to watch until late last night, you were discussing how I just lost my train of thought, but you were discussing something, and it made me think about, you were discussing how people believe they live in the end times.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a caller, and he brought up Matthew 24. And I could do this without citing the Bible if you want me to. But he brought up Matthew 24, and even, people standing in front of Jesus, they thought they were living in the end times. And even when Paul, he had to write a letter to Thessalonica, and they were even scared that they missed the end times. And they had questions and anxieties about, what happens to our dead. We've had people die since you've taught us about, the gospel of Christ. What about those people? And he went in, and the whole letter was just a reassurance to the people of the time that they didn't miss it,
Mm-hmm.
and we get this ancient evil and these people that have the headlines, that they read on X or CNN or Fox News or alternative media, Dropside or Zero Hedge,
Mm-hmm.
plug antivor.com. Love you, Dave DeCamp.
Yeah, Dave rules.
And, we see these headlines and we plug them into our worldview, whatever it may be. Of course, mine, is well rooted in biblical text and even, exploring pre-biblical text. And these ancient beings have been around and been worshipped and have been wreaking havoc on humanity.
You still there? Oh, man. We lost him.
Spiritual evil influencing our world and and I mean, I'm just going to call it like I see it, creating a blood sacrifice,
Where do you
and
where do you see a lot of that happening today? Like when you say that, I'm thinking immediately of like war and Planned Parenthood, right? Like literal
yeah.
sacrifice of kids. Like what else are you seeing? How that how the evil is manifesting itself today, and where?
Well, I see it in two places, and you hit the nail on the head. I'm not going to lie. Yesterday was a very bad day for me. I was very discouraged. Very discouraged. We had a piece of legislation in Tennessee that came up that was sponsored by a very courageous and brave man that would have codified things that are already in our state law in abortion, abolition, basically giving equal protection under the law to the unborn. I don't think people realize that if you factor in abortion, we've lost 1/3 of Generation Z already. So 1/3 of a generation has already passed because of blood sacrifices to this ancient evil. And ever since 1913, you can look back and kind of see the progression of things at a lot of things happened in 1913. We saw the Federal Reserve being established as a central bank, independent of the federal government. And shout out to Andrew Jackson, the Old Hickory, and he fought that tooth and nail so that we didn't have that. You saw the implementation and the law that allowed for an income tax, which we had that before during the Civil War briefly. And those two things combined brought us into World War I. Mm-hmm. And then ever since then, we've been in some sort of conflict, and these conflicts have brought about a lot of death, which are essentially blood sacrifices to these ancient deities. And are you familiar with the concept of an egregore?
Yeah, remind me of that. That's like,
so
that when you have like a monster that you like a golem type situation?
Well, it kind of like that. It's essentially when the masses, when what collective humanity all have this one idea, and then it starts manifesting itself into, in this case, this war scenario that we're in. And we create enemies and have this bloodthirstiness. And we do it for different reasons. People are different than we are. People have different beliefs than we do. Yep. And we justify killing in the name of whatever that is. Shout out Rage. Before they turned into total Skittles.
Before the fall, yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Audio Slave, Rage Against the Soundgarden, great band.
Yeah, no, they're still good. It's just things that they had to ruin their. But if you look back, they were always communist, but they have good music. They do have good music.
Yeah. But you see these ancient evils, and they manifest themselves in different ways. They co-opted the right as we would know it, or what we would call it today, through evangelical circles, using different ways that people interpret the biblical text. And then they used it in a way to co-opt the left, or what we would consider the progressive left, through Bolshevism, which found its way into like a power vacuum in Weimar, Germany, and the Frankfurt School, and critical theory, which led to, I don't want to offend anybody, but into feminism, and the different waves of feminism,
Yep.
which destroyed the nuclear family, and that it was all in the name of, getting two incomes in a household, and we have this entity that's devaluing our currency. So I was born in 1979.
Mm-hmm.
A dollar in 1979 is worth $4 in today's dollar, and rapidly dropping. And we're going to see over the next year an additional $2.4 billion added to our national debt, which is essentially slavery, which we abolished that in, the 1860s.
You know what? While you're talking, it's like reminding me how we have all these labels for things that we know are bad, whether it's feminism, communism, you name the label. And it's really just a way for evil to rebrand itself to continue these sacrifices you're talking about, but also get the people who are still here to shackle themselves to the material world, like the way you were defining, like what feminism's goal was for, go out into the material world, have another job, make more money, all these things. It's for trying to get these treasures that keep you that for here, because in the evil worldview and the one that wants to divorce you from God and keep you from heaven is the one that makes you sin here and only want to live here forever, like not like a transhumanist way, because there's obviously those people as well, but they want to promote that this is the only place that matters and that everything you do here should be for here and here alone. And, so that's an interesting way of putting it, because I think that's a lot of this is just when you're talking about ancient evil, it seems like it just keeps rebranding into new ways to, like you say, create slavery.
Yeah. And we're indebted to the ancient evil, and we can even take it to be pre-biblical text into Canaanite religion. And I don't think a lot of people understand how much of biblical, and this is going to sound, heretical, but how much of biblical text has co-opted ancient Canaanite deities and ancient Canaanite stories into biblical text. If you look at, Isaiah 27 and the Leviathan story, that's taken straight out of the Baal cycle. It's the whole story is co-opted, and this is just the way that the ancient Hebrews would have understood that. It would just be like me referencing a movie quote to get you to better understand, my point. Mm-hmm. Like if we agree on something, are we best friends now? Like I'm quoting Step Brothers,
Yep.
Did we just become best friends? And it would be just the way that the ancient Hebrews would have understood what the biblical author would have been saying. And I think we have, lost the spirituality of ancient times in this materialistic worldview. And we even see this, I'm Christ maxing right now, but let's schizo max for a second.
Do it.
We see this right now with, we were supposed to get the deception, the great deception. That was the thing that was supposed to come next. And in UFOs and aliens, and I'm sure you followed that discourse online. Mm-hmm. And even one of the leaders of that movement, Timothy Alberino, even took a materialistic view of aliens being physical beings, and me and him have went back and forth on this. Mm-hmm. But that ancient deception at some point that ancient evil will use that deception again to attack our faith. And whether it be Project Bluebeam or some sort of manifestation of these ancient evils into physical beings.
Yeah, I had a pleasant talk with Alberino on this show a while back, but
Yeah,
I'm team MDS on all that, and I
yeah,
don't really appreciate what I saw from him throughout that. I mean, they're great trolls, but I'm with them on the way they interpret the demon, stuff. And there was another thing that, like, in retrospect, when I talked to him, I was still like really new to being a Christian, so I wasn't even like into sharpening my theology yet. Like, I understood, like,
yeah,
you got to have a proper interpretation of the Bible, but there's so much more I've learned, and obviously there's so much more I need to learn, and I'm continuing to learn. But what I remember now in retrospect is that he was saying things, and I could be wrong, but this is how I remember it. He was saying things he was saying a lot of the Bible was more metaphorical. And even
yeah,
then, I knew that's not how I felt. I didn't really have the vocabulary yet for it, but I knew as I was hearing, like, no, because I take it literally, unless it's things that are obviously symbolic, right?
yeah,
So that was strange to me. But yeah, it seems like I have a very different interpretation of the Bible than he does. But there's a lot of that happening now, and there's a lot of people who are in the whole disclosure space, but also in politics right now that are trying to sound like they are Christian or dissident, that are pretending to be Christians. I mean, I don't know their hearts,
yeah,
but like, there's a lot of people who are saying, yeah, I'm a Christian, but like, they are very obviously, to me at least, not living that way. I mean, we're all flawed,
yeah,
we're all sinners, but some of these people are like married gay men who like build death machines. So
yeah,
I don't take it too
yeah,
seriously.
yeah. And I had a friend who said she was reading Birthright and asked me what I thought of it, and I said I think it's just fan fiction.
Yeah.
And she put it down. And I'm a Heiserite, like I
Yep.
am heavily entrenched in his work and letting the Bible be what it is and speak for itself, and reading the text and allegorization of the Bible didn't start until the Pauline epistles. Um, and then that opened the door for people to say, well, this is allegory. And a lot of cultural Christianity is dangerous to what the text actually says. And if you want me to take the Bible out of it, I can reframe it into ancient Canaanite religion and deities. Like, even when our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, stood up there, and I don't know whether it was yesterday or the day before, time just kind of blurs together these days.
Yeah.
And he quotes Psalm 141, I believe, and he's talking about war. It's a Psalm of David in the fifth Psaltic text, and it's about David's battle at Moab and Canaan. And I'm not sure if you're aware where Canaan is today, but Canaan would land in Gaza geographically, and Moab would land in Jordan geographically. And those are where those battles were. And those were physical battles that were ordained by Yahweh, which would be the God of Israel. And it's just weaponizing religion to suit your narrative and to suit your bloodthirst, or feeding this egregore of war. And I'm a libertarian, big L, but I'm also a conservative, Mises Caucus, and in my state we don't have ballot access, so I vote with the Republicans and
Right.
and caucus with the Libertarians, and coalesce with whoever's on the right side of the issue, whether it be a Democrat or a Republican, in the name of liberty, as the founding fathers intended it. And we just see things in history and frame them in a linear time because that's just our understanding of the world, and that's not how the world is. And I think you were saying how we have this unfailing, or this we have this unknown of the concept of El Elyon, the Most High God, the Creator of the world, um, because we're all creatures, with the exception of El Elyon, the Most High God, and and Jesus, Yeshua, who is God incarnate. Other than that, we are all creatures, whether it be these ancient spirits that are influencing man and have done it since the Edenic fall. I mean, if you just go back to that story and you read it on its own terms, there's a snake that talks to a woman. Like, that's not normal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not normal. And then we've taken this idea and we've lumped that serpent in with the term Satan, which is just a role. The term Satan is just a role, the accuser or the deceiver. And we've just lumped that into like the personification of one thing through Milton and art and
Dante.
things. Yeah, Dante, and the levels of the abyss, and none of that is true. It's just fiction, but we've linked it to our beliefs to fill in the gaps because the Bible doesn't really tell us everything, and
Right.
even fighting a bill, to create equal protection for the unborn. I don't find a verse in the Bible that says that. I don't. I just don't. But I know it's wrong. I know killing's wrong.
Right. Yep. And politicians are always trying to warp, and use your religion against you for their own purposes. Even the ones who claim they're Christian. I mean, a lot of the time, look at the ones who claim they're Christian and want to start wars constantly.
Yeah, and I have no problem with these people as people because, like you said, we're all flawed. We're all sinners.
Yeah.
I could sit here and confess hundreds of sins to you, but in no way will that change the fact that I'm sorry. None of that will change the fact that Christ won victory over that on the cross. In the book of John, he looks up to the sky, and in the Bible, this is the only place where you have him speaking Aramaic, which would have been the language that Jesus spoke, and it's a certain dialect of Aramaic. You would know it closely as like Syriac, but it's a dialect of Syriac. There's very few people that still speak it. And he looks up at the sky and he says, Elioi, Elioi, lama sabachthani, which is translated, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Which is a mistranslation, but that's just us trying to understand, ancient languages through our own language, which English is a complicated language as it is.
Yep. What translation do you like to read?
To be honest with you, I collect Bibles, but I don't think that right now, if you're a Christian, that you can read anything other than the English Standard Version. And I'll explain to you why. In 1947, the Essenes saw fit to isolate themselves from other Christian sects, and they stored ancient texts in the Qumran caves, and people would know that today as the Dead Sea Scrolls. And there's a lot of text in there that is older than, technically the Greek Septuagint is older than the Masoretic text, which is what most Bibles would have translated the Old Testament from. Mm-hmm. But it's that predates those. So older manuscripts are more reliable. Think of it like a game of telephone. The first person at the beginning of the game of telephone has the right answer. So the older the manuscript, the more fidelity it has, the more truth it has to being original. And the ESV will draw from that. And, you know, we didn't start understanding and translating things from Ugaritic and from, you know, understanding, you know, Canaanite deities until 1929. And, you know, people are still reading the King James Version of the Bible, even knowing there's words in the King James Bible that we don't have an English word for, that we don't understand. The language is so archaic that it doesn't make any sense. But you know, one of the things I do to minister to people is I keep Bibles in my car, and, you know, you have panhandlers, and each Bible has a couple dollars in it. And I just put you know, I'll just take and open it to a passage that I think is, you know, relevant at the time. Whatever God lays on my heart, put the $3 in there and just ask them that they read the page that the $3 is in, or $5 or whatever, however much cash I have, you know, or whatever, you know, denomination of money's in my wallet. And it kind of sucks when I have a 20, because that'll get them a bottle, you know?
Right, of course.
You know, but people have to escape. You know, I'm not going to hold it against them. I've done the same thing. But you know, even, and any Bible's better than no Bible, but I think Christians should be reading out of the ESV, but it really depends on your reading level. Like, I used to hate the New Living Bible, but they actually turned it from a paraphrased Bible into an actual translation of the Bible. So the NLT is really easy to read. Like, the average person reads at a 7th to 8th grade level. They just do. And, you know, and that's a failure on the part of the education system, which is, of course, run by the government. And if you want something to ruin, just put it in the hands of the government. They will ruin it for you. So.
Oh, yeah. That totally sounds about right. I mean, you don't trust them with everything. They never lie to us. Why would they do anything wrong?
Definitely won't lie to us. But since this war started, you know, I've been tracking Google Trends, and people Googling Epstein has just dropped drastically, not quite exponentially, but drastically. And, you know, and it's kind of just a distraction. And it you know, there was plenty of people, me included, that said, hey, we're going to attack them on this date, most likely at this time, just based off of the way that military operates. Because I, you know, tend to keep up with geopolitics. Yeah. Thanks to my friend Dave DeCamp. I love his sideburns. Yeah. You know, but, you know, in the world we live in, the ancient evil still lives. It's older than us. It's more knowledgeable than us. And it's really easy to deceive people whose eyes aren't open to that supernatural realm, however it presents itself. And if you say,
you still there? Oh man, we lost him.
like a blanket term that people will understand without having to go in and explain that's just a word that's kind of been made up to encompass just a bunch of different things. But it's the same thing with satanic. There's no that's something again where people have filled in the blank and made different words in the Bible into one person instead of, just letting the Bible speak for itself.
Yeah,
but
and real quick, I just, for anyone who's going to be watching this, and we lost service for a minute there. We were talking about Austin Picard. I want to make sure we have his name there, because that dude, when we had him on, he was like an encyclopedia.
yeah,
Like, he knew everything. I think we were talking about Waco. I think we were supposed to talk about something else. I think I might have had him back right after. I forget. This is like a year or two ago. But we were supposed to talk about serial killers, and then we ended up talking about Waco for like 2 hours or something. And but I was incredibly impressed with his knowledge, and it's crazy stuff. But yeah, shout out to him and Jose, and I miss the tower again.
And they do a podcast, and I appear on it frequently on Tuesday night, and they stream it across both channels. Jose's channel is No Way Jose. You can just search it up on YouTube.
Yep.
And Austin's channel is the Underclass Podcast, and you can follow Jose on X at Tower Gang Jose, and they do really good work. And we kind of discussed this last night in parapolitical terms, but you'll see this ancient evil, and it's still alive today, and it's still deceiving us, and it's creating this mentality that we must be at war, we must constantly have an enemy, we must constantly live in a fear economy that just serves these ancient evil entities, because when we're in fear and we're distracted, our eyes aren't on Christ, and it's something that I struggle with. I think war is gay, and I keep up with it, so I'm pretty sure that I'm gay. So
maybe fake too.
I don't know. I think faking gay is a conspiracy in itself.
That's a psyop.
But the thing about it is that people in the conspiracy space are open to finding answers. Mm-hmm. People in the schizo space, and I use schizo as an endearing term.
Same.
Like, so when I say somebody's a schizo, I'm just calling you my brother in seeking truth.
Agreed.
And the fact that we're being distracted from the Epstein files, which I call the Epstein files the Rosetta Stone of modern day conspiracy theory, because it has a little bit of something in there for everyone. I know you like transhumanism. And Epstein surrounded himself with the people that are these technocrats and that want to usher in this surveillance state and put us into this transhumanist bastardization of creation. And it's all bad, but we have an antidote. Our sins have been atoned through Jesus Christ on the cross. I don't want to get too preachy because I don't know the exact demographic of your audience.
They should hear it. They should hear it regardless.
But I know that you've been leaning more towards spirituality, and everybody's in a different place when it comes to that, and people are discovering things, especially people that didn't grow up in Christianity. Like, my background is in fundamentalist Christianity, which is the most dangerous kind. And it's hard for believers to go back and go, oh, everything that I was taught was wrong. That sweet little old lady that had no understanding of the Bible taught me these things.
Dude, that is such an interesting. Sorry, real quick, I just want to say, like, such an interesting thing about getting deeper into sharpening your theology and realizing how many Christians might not be saved who think they are.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. There's this concept of soteriology, or the study of salvation and growth in once you become saved, bearing fruit. And Brad actually filled in for Jose on one of their shows like last week, I think, maybe. And, we get to talking in the post show. And, I started explaining some of these things to him. And he's like, I've never thought about things that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. You still there? Oh, man. We lost him. He didn't hang up. Let's see what happened there. I got to tell him about how we lost service there twice, and I want to be able to tell it to him. Let me see if I can bring him back. Give me 1 second. Okay, we're back. All right, let's bring John back in here. John, okay, no, it's all good. I wanted to say we got interrupted 3 times. I had 3 service interruptions. The first time was when you were in the very beginning. We lost 10 or 15 seconds because you were going into ancient evil, and I don't know what happened, but we got cut off. The second time was right when you mentioned Israel, and the third time was just then. And I forgot what you were saying because then I was starting to fumble around with the phone, being like, "What is attacking me right now?" But where were you?
And that just kind of validates my point that spiritual warfare is real, and these beings can manifest themselves physically in these devices, in this transhumanist movement. Right. And we're in a climate where we need that Christ and that basis in biblical truth more than ever. And that is just something that is axiomatically and objectively true. And there's no separating me from that belief. And I can go into how I got there, but I'm a very pragmatic thinker, and if somebody gives me an idea that challenges my worldview, and I can't immediately debunk it, then I'll go right back to square one and deconstruct and reconstruct to ensure that the way that I think is the correct way. And I love when people will challenge me and challenge my faith and have a bona fide and good faith discussion about things, because these things need to be hashed out, and we need to come to a collective understanding of this ancient evil that's in the world and how it's affecting us. Because these spirits, however you want to characterize them, whether it be the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim or another incorrect term like fallen angels, or whatever, watchers, if you're an Enoch guy. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I've tracked is like the bestseller in like Baptist theology and Baptist reading right now is intertestamental pseudepigraphical works like the Book of Enoch. So if you go to Amazon right now and you just search like the Book of Enoch, the first thing that comes up, it's about $40. It's like 100 different pseudepigraphical works, and this is what the people that wrote the New Testament would have read and understood. And people are buying it up and they're eating it up, and it's people that are either in the faith or people that are discovering that, hey, I have all these questions about all this stuff that's happening in the world. And one of the things that I respect about Dr. Heiser, God rest his soul, is he would go to UFO conferences and he would speak to these people, and he would just straight up tell you they're more receptive to the gospel because they're asking the questions of, who are we? How did we get here? How do we align with these concepts and these things that we don't understand? And when you put it in spiritual terms, it makes it easier for them to digest. And they're more receptive than, people that are cultural Christians. And I think we need more of that in this schizo-maxing conspiracy space. Because it's just, people are looking for truth, and that's the ultimate truth.
Dude, I totally agree. Well, this has been a pleasure as always, and I hope you call back because we can get more into, all this stuff and how you got here. And I love these conversations. So it's good to talk again, and appreciate you calling in. And apologies that we lost connection. I think it was like 3 times for 10 seconds, but I'll let the people know when it airs, and maybe we'll put in a little card being like we got interrupted by demons or something. But the bulk of it is there.
My apologies for being verbose. I do tend to talk a lot about subjects that I'm passionate about.
Well, that's why we like taking calls, man. This is exactly why. It's great. You know how I'm invested in all this stuff, and this is looking at it from a very similar point of view. So, dude, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much, and we'll have you back.
Yeah, eyes on Jesus, my brother in Christ. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and it's easy to get it distracted from the main thing, but we got to keep the main thing the main thing.
Absolutely. Totally agree, dude. And let people know where they can find you online.
You can follow me at _John Black on X is where I'm most active.
Sick. Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you, my brother in Christ.
Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, people. It's amazing to have these calls again. Let's see. I think I had someone else in here too. All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking around. We have another caller. We have Adam. Adam, when you can hear me, let me know. Adam, if you're out there, you are on Inverted World, and you can join us at any moment. Adam, can you hear me?
Hello?
Adam, you're on Inverted World.
Oh, dude, I just wanted to join the space, not actually talk, dude.
Oh, well.
I've been trying to get in for an hour, man, and this is the first time I finally got in. I don't mean to, land on your parade train.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. This is just a link to call in. So the show will air later. We're doing the pre-record now, and people can call in. So you're more than welcome to talk or share a story if you want, but the show will be up later.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I got a question, Shane.
All right, let's hear it.
Do you think that everything we're seeing right now is prefabricated? Here's my idea. To purposely throw the midterms, throw 2028, give it all to the Democrats. That way the New World Order comes in just like clockwork. Throw it all.
It does seem that way. I mean, the more and more we descend into all this chaos with a Trump that seems to be acting completely different, it's hard not to then go back in history and think about, was Trump created to do this very thing, what you're saying? That doesn't mean maybe Trump's in on it, although I have no idea anymore. But maybe they made him a victim to make all of us support him, to then install him again to do all this stuff, which will bring about the New World Order. I mean, we're heading in that direction, and he seems powerless against it. He seems like he's being puppeteered by it, actually. So I don't know what his deal is, but me thinking about all this a lot lately, it looks like, they as in like the New World Order, all these people, the elite class. I don't even want to say leftists anymore because it's beyond left and right. But like,
absolutely.
Right. But like they created this victimhood currency, this victim class, which a lot of us were like, no, we're against this. Victimhood is bad. No one wants to be a victim, but like, we're not going to raise your status in our society because you were a victim or something. But then they ended up turning Trump into the ultimate victim. And it was horrible. I mean, the lawfare, the assassination attempts, all the COVID, which I think was also engineered as part of this process we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And now we have all of this, which is like completely different than the Trump that was campaigning, I mean, it's like every politician ever, but he was supposed to be the outsider. He was going up against the system, but now he is the system, and he's surrounded by horrible people with bad advice that all want the New World Order, that all are acting like globalists, and it seems to me like it is part of some plan. Is that what you're thinking?
Sam Tripoli believes that anyone who runs for presidency is preordained. Like he said on a podcast once, back in 2008, we're done with old white neocons. Who do the Republicans run? John McCain. And the Democrats run Barack Obama. And then in 2024, we're done with all this woke shit. So who do the Democrats run? The craziest woke cunt imaginable. And yet, so they send everyone over to Trump. No matter who you pick for, you get John McCain, right?
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree, dude. I think a lot of this is by design, and it's not just politics. This has kind of been the theme of the episode today. And with our last caller, we had John on talking about ancient evil, and I even was starting off the show talking about ancient evil and how I think the ancient evil I'm now talking about when it comes to I mean, there's so many different things. Some people want to say it's the Illuminati or the Masons. I don't know. I think it's beyond all of that. I think there's words that we're talking about when we're saying ancient evil that we don't have words for this. This is like I'm thinking of ancient civilizations that have been surviving for thousands of years, passing down knowledge and they infect every part of every institution. So we could say like the Sabbateans, the Frankists. I mean, it's an ancient cabal of evil. And I think they understand human nature. They understand sin. They understand how all of this is cyclical. And they plot out a narrative for us to destroy ourselves with. And, I do think there were obviously I've been saying it, ancient breakaway civilizations, ancient civilizations that were technologically advanced. And that could have been within the last 6,000 years that destroyed themselves with their own technology. And it just seems to be that is the theme of humanity. You're always going to end up, like not us, but there are people within humanity that end up wanting to play God and destroying themselves or everyone else. And it seems like we're heading in that direction. But whatever's happening, it does seem that way to me, that we have a group of people that they're intelligent and they're evil and they have plotted out all this stuff. So we're kind of in their game. And yeah, I don't know, with Trump, super disappointment, but it shouldn't be that surprising either. I was very reluctant to even vote for him this last time, despite I wasn't going to vote for Kamala. I almost didn't vote at all. But like knowing Vance's connections to Vance and Teal, all of the technocrats, these are really, in my opinion, very bad people. And it was actually with Tripoli. I think it was like a month or two before the election. He was on this show. And we were like, I mean, yeah, we get Trump, but he's surrounded by horrible people. And second day of this administration, we get Project Stargate, and that was a huge, huge boost to those exact people. Larry Ellison, Sam Altman. I mean, these are like the worst people that we can at least name. Obviously there's others out there that we can't name, but we don't know their names. But they're getting rewarded. They're the ones making out the best. It's not the American people. I mean, we're all suffering. It's really hard to survive. Money is tight. Economy sucks. I mean, you're trying to feed your kids and drive to work. Everything's overly priced. And then you get to see people like Mark Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, Bill Gates having dinner with Trump. And I'm like, those are the same people who were censoring you off their platforms just a few years ago. Yeah. Why are we rewarding them? So it gives me pause. And I'm like, who's running this? And we know no president is ever really in charge. But, they really did a good job with the propaganda of making him seem like an outsider. And he kind of was, but he wasn't really.
No.
And, there's obviously great things from the first term. I still think that's great, but whatever's going on now, it seems to be it's a different person.
It's the old Bill Hicks joke. As soon as you get elected president, they show you a video of the JFK assassination from an area that no one's ever seen before, right?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know that's actually... Did you see Anna Paulina Luna actually talking about that in a serious way?
She seems very shady to me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I like that she talks about this stuff, but there's some. I think she's been installed. First of all, Luna's not her real last name.
Yes.
It's like Myhofer, right? There's something weird about her. I think she's been trotted out to be this pretty face. Oh, put her in a bikini. Have her talk about interdimensional aliens. You know, we used to shun Alex Jones for saying this, but if you put her in a bikini, no one will know she used to be a stripper. There'll be 5 people on Twitter who say that. We'll say they're crazy, and then just give her, you know, a seat on some committee. And we'll give her a Rogan spot, and it's all good. But she did come out and say on I was like NBC or something. She said that she said NBC was in possession of a video of JFK's assassination that actually showed Lee Harvey Oswald near the limousine. And that just got buried, but that is on video. She literally said that on video last year. And I'm like, what? And she said that NBC was holding on to it she doesn't know why. No one talked about it again. We covered it, and but it just, you know, there's that's like a billion stories ago in the way things are going these days.
That's true. Hey man, one last question.
Yeah.
What do you think about Alex Jones these days? Like the GOAT legend who is, you know, breaking all these stories for decades and being vilified. Now all of a sudden, I don't even know what to think. I know. What do you think?
All right. So I love Alex. He's been good to me. He's been great to me in the past. I've had the honor of doing his show. It was amazing. I have been a fan of his since high school. I'm 40, about to be 41. You know, I saw him in Waking Life for the first time. That was the movie that put me on Alex. I'm like, who is this madman? I agree. And so been following him forever. Think he's a genius. And like I've said to him, I think he's a poet, a philosopher, and you know, but there's obviously the strange things too with him, like his connections to the CIA. He's got family. He's told me on InfoWars, like his dad was in the CIA or his uncle or something. He had connections to NASA, the CIA. You know, it's like with Tucker, and everyone's got weird connections, but we've all somehow, you know, got connections to someone that might be weird, you know, once made public, and you don't even know it. But anyway, whatever's going on with Alex right now, I'm shocked. He doesn't seem like the same person. Like there's people saying he's a clone. I don't know if that's the case, but he's like, we were just talking about these transhumanists who are in charge. They're globalist transhumanists. They're like these tech vampires, Teal, Elon, Ellison, Altman, you go down the list. And so we finally have this globalist transhumanist elite class with faces that are in charge, running the game alongside Trump, right? With Stargate being a great example of that. Alex has been railing against those exact type of people for decades, and now it's like he's a little more pro-Trump, and then I think is like, it's inappropriate to me. I'm like, dude, Trump is, like we were just saying, Trump is not the same guy, but then neither is Alex, you know? I'm not saying like a clone, although anything's possible, but my feeling, I don't know, this is just a theory, and I've said this a few times, is that perhaps someone came in and said, we're gonna take care of your legal fees, you know, after being sued for $1 billion, and you just kind of have to help promote such and such. This is straight up theory, but to me it seems like so bizarre that he said certain things. Now, I don't watch him as much as I used to, and I'm only basing this off a lot of clips and longer clips, whether they're, you know, talks with him and Fuentes or just his own clips. And I've had his son on the show not that long ago. And I was talking about how I think they're trying to Alex Jones Candace next. Like she's the next Alex Jones in terms of,
There's always going to be another one.
right. And they're going to use her as an example of like maybe a mass censorship campaign. Maybe we're past that point, because it seemed like it was about to happen. Where they could do like a coordinated takeout of, like, you know, how they took out Alex all at one time on all the platforms. They could do it to Candace, but, you know, and that's a possibility. But it's weird to me. And that's the only thing that makes somewhat sense, is that he's maybe getting some help behind the scenes, and, you know, they crushed him. I mean, that was a total sham trial. I completely defend him through all his Sandy Hook comments. It's been blown out of proportion. Like, you have every right to ask those questions. If you know anything about history and like an Operation Northwoods, the false flags, they, as in the government, are willing to kill you or pretend to kill people. And he has every right to ask those questions. But, you know, it's been so blown out of proportion that people think he's the one that killed the kids, and they think that he promoted the killing or that he sent people to hurt the families. Totally insane. So it's been weird to me with him for the past few months. But then when he was going against Candace so hard, I was like, this is so weird to me because it's like, it's you. Maybe it's a jealousy thing. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a jealous type. You know, he's always promoted so many different voices and people, and I love that about him. And that they all can agree or disagree. And InfoWars has just been a great show. So yeah, it's weird. I don't know. They keep closing down though. Like, I don't know what's going on with that.
Yesterday he released it. They're closing April 15th, tax day.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh fuck yeah, man.
Oh geez.
Yeah, search it out, man.
Oh man. Of course, on tax day, right? Okay. Well,
yeah, right.
So that's interesting. I mean, if it really is closing down, then maybe my theory is wrong, you know, because I thought perhaps he's getting help from someone. We knew there were people behind the scenes trying to help him because we knew if I was covering the trial about like the bankruptcy, right? And you could call in and listen to the court. And so I was doing that and listening to, this is when the Onion was allegedly buying or won the auction to buy InfoWars, which was totally bogus. But he had a group of people, I forget the names, some of them are bigger names, maybe Roger Stone is one of them, but that were the other place trying to buy InfoWars. So all that fell apart, and then you remember, like, he got raided like a year or two ago. Might have been 2 winters ago.
Times.
Yeah, that was crazy on air. But so gangster of Alex. This is one of my favorite Alex Jones moments, is getting raided, him telling his audience, I'll be back on in 10, 15 minutes. And then just like driving down the road and then broadcasting from another studio. Like, you can't stop it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know that if he is going under, that's crazy. He's an animal. Yeah, he's an animal. And I love what he's done. And it's great. And it's crazy to now we live in this world where so many of the things he's talked about that, you know, people would mock and say that's on the fringes of society. Now there's no taboo, almost none anymore, and people are talking about it in the mainstream. And you know, then I kind of get worried, like, well, what's that about? Is this a narrative shift? Is this propaganda? Are they trying to get the dissenting voices, the conspiracy theorists, on their side now for the next narrative that they need us to help them sell? It's all very strange, but I did not hear about the April 15th thing. That is horrible if true. I can't imagine he'll stop. He'll probably, did he say he's going to like rebrand or start a new thing?
No, he already has the Alex Jones network, so
True.
I'm guessing on the 15th or the 16th they'll just roll right over to the new studio.
That's true. Well, I hope so. Well, I'll be following. I'll look it up. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, even if I disagree with Alex on whatever's going on now, because it just seems a little weird that he's not railing against the people that he's always been railing against. And it could also just be that he's tired, which is hard to say because he doesn't seem to be tired. But I mean, like, they've tried to crush him. I mean, look at that. We're talking about him having to be shut down, but this man's been turned into a caricature, and people really believe he's responsible for death. And he's been made a villain, which is preposterous. So it could also be some of that. And he's just, you know, with Trump in charge, maybe hoping Trump can help. I don't see Trump being a help to anyone, to be honest, anymore, unless you're like Lindsey Graham. Unless you're Lindsey Graham or Peter Thiel, I don't think he's going to be helping. But, you know, Trump called into Alex Jones' show a few times all those years ago. And there was some relationship there, you know, a while back. So maybe he will help. I hope he does. He needs it. I'd like to see Alex get help and obviously see him continue.
I think you hit the nail on the head. He's just the poster child. If you dare question the powers that be, we will strip you of your rights and annihilate you in every way possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, that's why I was kind of upset with Alex for going after Candace the way he did. You can disagree with Candace. Like, I don't care. I obviously am like, Candace, go crazy. I don't give a crap. You know, you question everything. We are allowed to do that. So I'm in full support. But he was going after her in a way I'm like, are you even listening to her? And also, it's what happened to you, but now on an international scale because she's being sued by countries. You know, and if you watched her stuff, and I did because I see so much criticism, I'm like, okay, well now, you know, if I have to have these conversations, I don't want to just go in and not know what she's saying. So I've watched a lot of her stuff and the Bridget McCrone thing, and there is weird stuff there. And a lot of that stuff that she's talking about is stuff that Alex would talk about, because it's not just about Brigitte being a man, which I think she's probably a man. It's also about like how there are pedophiles that have ingratiated themselves into all of these administrations around the world. So if we're talking about Epstein and we're all mad about the Epstein files, of course, I mean, this is proof. And it's not like she's just making stuff up. She's showing you paintings or books or people within the administration that they've been talking about or that they promote that are pedophiles. So I don't see the problem here. If we're exposing this stuff in the age of like Epstein files, this is important. So I don't know what's going on, but I love him. I love doing his show. I just wish he would, I don't know. I wish he would see that we're finally up against the evils that he's always been talking about. And maybe he does, but for whatever reason, he's kind of holding back. But I will also say, I have seen other recent clips of him saying Trump is kind of being puppeteered. I don't know if he said by Israel, which would have been shocking, but I agree. But I think I saw something like that recently from him. And if that's the case, maybe he's starting to break away or, realize like something's wrong here,
Dude, I think Israel absolutely 100% controls our government, and whatever they say, they get, or else they threaten the Samson option, the Amalek option. They threaten everything. And I think they've been doing that ever since World War II.
Yeah, I mean, it's very strange. It's very strange that Trump just said Jared Kushner was helping him, like telling him we should bomb Iran. Like, why are we listening to Jared Kushner, right? Like this dude is the guy with the PowerPoint presentations on how he's going to build on top of the mass genocide in Gaza. Yeah, I think Israel has a lot of control. I think we are completely sold out to this country. But the thing that's so weird to me is that it's like this marriage between the Operation Paperclip and Israel post World War II. A good example of that would be, how MK Ultra was started with a Jew from Brooklyn and a Nazi from Nazi Germany post, right after World War II, and then Dulles from the CIA, bringing them together and being like, now create me mind control drugs so we can, create Manchurian candidates. And it seems like that was the beginning of all of this. And like World War II maybe never ended, and it's just rebranding of names, shuffling around of people. And now we're kind of trapped in this revolving door of like psychotic people wanting to destroy all of us. It's good times. You still there? Did we lose you? Uh-oh. We were having such a pleasant talk. But yeah, Alex, shout out to Alex Jones. We might not agree on everything right now. We don't have to. I like talking to people I don't agree with. This is how we sharpen our own idea. Hey, are you still there? We lost you for a sec.
Hey, yeah. Hello, Shane.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, but how they say World War One leads directly into World War II?
Yeah.
I think World War II leads directly into literally today. I think we're in World War III, or at least the very, very, very early stages of it. And I think it's been planned. And maybe you probably see, because you and I are about the same age. Mm-hmm. I think you've seen the same thing. They planned this shit out. Not 20, 30 years. They planned this shit out 50, 100 years. I think they've been planning this shit out since the late 1800s. If you read some of the shit that Albert Pike was writing.
I haven't read that, but I do think it's been planned out that long, if not longer, because I'm really thinking demons in control of the material world. They understand human nature, and they are plotting this stuff out for eons, and they know it's cyclical. So I'll look up Albert Pike. I don't know about that, but I know that something. I think people think that we sometimes live in a simulation. I don't believe in simulation theory, but I do believe that there are these narrative engineers that are designing our world. So there's so much fake stuff out there that they promote through the news, through entertainment, through Hollywood, whatever. And then it gets us to believe in a fake world that we have to buy into. But below that is the objective reality that still exists, that a lot of us do see and want to get back to. But this fake world is like crushing the objective reality. And so these narrative engineers are plotting out all these destructions, like landmarks of war, 1, 2, 3, and knowing like if we put this person here, if we put that person there, install this place here, eventually this will happen. It's like they understand. It's almost like writing a book. You understand the narrative. You have your skeleton, your outline, and you just have to start putting these people in certain positions for all to go into play and then fall apart. And that includes like Rothschilds and Israel, right? And like if we make this happen here, and we know our history, and we know what happens with these people, and who wants this land, and how this will affect other geopolitics, it all starts to fall apart. And I mean it seems like that to me. Like it's just dominoes for these people. It's just a game, but unfortunately the game is with our lives. And but they do it for power. They do it to. We were talking about the Epstein files. We saw so many insights in the Epstein files of them saying, whether it's Epstein to Thiel or Bannon talking with Epstein or the guy from Barclays talking to Epstein, they say, we can confuse and distract the people with war, but not only that, we can extract wealth from these wars, from these failing countries. And on top of that, we can traffic children and people out of them. We see places like Turkey opening up investigations into child trafficking that happened in the late 90s after the earthquake that Epstein might have been involved with, which then might make people think of the trafficking that we think happened out of Haiti after the earthquake, right, with children and the Clinton Foundation. So, I mean, this is the world we're living in. It's insane, and there's stuff coming to light. But even that, we're in this age of like so-called transparency and disclosure. But you have to think, is that part of the design as well? Is that to help keep us distracted as they, shift into some new narrative? We just have to keep, I guess we're on our toes all this time.
Did you hear about, I just heard about a certain family you can't say online, or I won't say the name but the name starts with a P, that if I say this name, it'll nuke your podcast. If you post this on a Facebook, they will permanently delete your account. Are you aware of this family?
No. What if we spell it?
Payseur.
I don't know about it.
You do a deep dive. You're probably not going to find literally almost anything on Google. But Sam Tripoli had a podcast. It came out 6 years ago. I just found out about this family. Sam Tripoli had a podcast on it, and Ian Carroll did a deep dive on this family, and they're like above the Rothschilds, man. I just found out about this family.
Yeah, that's like kind of what we were just saying earlier in the talk about how there's names we don't even know, right? Like, I talk about Thiel all the time or Musk, whatever, but we see these people and like clearly there's names above them. And then, it was almost like, it's a conspiracy to talk about the Rothschilds, even though we know they were funding both sides of the Napoleonic Wars. But like, and then in Epstein files, we're literally seeing Epstein saying he's working for the Rothschilds. But so when that's happening, I'm thinking, if we're seeing this, what aren't we seeing? Obviously, there's something on top of that. So no, I haven't heard this. I'm pulling up stuff now. I will look into it, and I'll look up the Tripoli stuff and stuff that Ian did. But that's just it. There's always going to be another level of this stuff, and that's by design. It's like compartmentalized, ancient evil.
It's all by design, man.
Yeah. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Would you want to add anything else?
No. Thank you very much, Sam.
No, it's all good. This is a lot of fun, man. Do you want to shout out anything or promote anywhere to go online? People can find you.
Nope. Have a great day, man.
All right, dude. Thank you. Have a good one. There you have it, everybody. There you have it. Well, that was a fun one. Thank you to everyone who called in. You're going to see that there's a few edits here. Is either in the end, it was because I was fumbling with technology, because yes, I'm a boomer in a millennial robot husk. But like I said about with John, we lost him 3 times there. I don't know, and now here I'm kicking everything. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in so very much. We appreciate it. And continue to please liking, subscribing, the comments, all that really helps us out here. And I will continue to post the links to call in. And if you're not finding it on my socials, you can go back and under the videos and see on our community posts on YouTube And I think the link should be on Rumble as well. It's the same link to call in, be recording around 11. Sometimes I might just go start recording at random times as well. No guarantees, but it's a possibility. And I will try that. And other than that, guys, if you've seen Bigfoot, let us know. We're here. Know where to find us. Have a blessed night. We'll see you tomorrow.